So Penny, did anybody make a request to speak?
Yes.
Yeah. On the spot. Yeah. Good spot. Good morning, everyone. This is Knox County Board of Commissioners. We have with us this morning on our February 11th, 2025 meeting, our IT person. And Kyle Webb is with us, and he is going to be giving this monthly report for us. So Kyle, take it away.
Thanks. Well, it's only been 2 weeks, but I got off schedule from my normal rotation for meetings, so it's a little bit of a short report today. Since our last meeting, something that we've done is work to create a staff rotation with the city. We previously last year had a person that was pretty much full-time at the city. We have shifted that. But in some discussions with the city, we decided we got an office space up in City Hall. And so we're gonna have an employee rotation Monday through Friday from 8 to noon. They're gonna be on site at the city. All support calls for the city from the city will go to that person. Tickets will go to that person. So they'll have someone they can interact with right there and that can respond quickly to any issues that arise. And then outside of those hours, obviously we'll take the tickets as we normally would to our support desk. So I think they're pretty happy with that. We just started it yesterday and so far so good. But that'll help us deploy all their computers. You know, they had ordered over 50 computers at the end of last year. So having someone just kind of dedicated, not getting pulled off for other issues and projects, that'll be good.
So are all 50 up and running?
No, we've run up a couple issues with licensing for Office and things. So we've been working with Dell and Microsoft to sort that out with a couple of the computers, which has kind of held us up a little bit. But we're getting them deployed, and as soon as we figure that little issue out, we'll be off to the races. And we're kind of working on some other issues with the city. We're trying to still consolidate their networks. Everything was kind of back when they kind of had a third party doing all their IT. Each office kind of had its own little network, and it's created problems of them working together in our office, and it's overcomplicated. So we're trying to consolidate everything, but it's a long process to consolidate all that together and not disrupt normal operations. So we're gonna be working on that. Probably even on President's Day, we'll probably come in and be working on that while people are out of the office. Another thing that we released, which you would have seen on Monday, is our Q1 cybersecurity training went out. So generally, insurance companies for cyber insurance, of course, they like to have an hour of cybersecurity training a year. But assigning an hour block all at once is probably prohibitive. So what we've decided to do is we'll do 15-minute increments. So each quarter. So this is the first quarter, we'll have a 15-minute training, then Q2, Q3, Q4. That way there's 15-minute bites that the people will take, and it'll be a lot easier. And there's a short little quiz at the end. It's all just about usually phishing, testing, which, you know, scam emails, that type of thing is a huge concern to organizations. It's a huge source of fraud in government. So we're really pushing towards that training. You'll get test emails, that kind of thing, which will simulate someone trying to scam, you know, the county or a department, and their tests. And if you report it, then it'll show up in our system that, you know, you've passed the test basically. And if someone does click on it, it'll basically give them, it'll let them know that, you know, they clicked on something they shouldn't have. And then there's a 5-minute remedial training just to remind users of what to do, what to look out for, that kind of
My
thing.
last one, I was a proud three-peater, by the way. It probably took it 3 times to pass.
Yeah.
So I did it yesterday,
Uh-huh.
and the thing is, I missed one question, but it didn't tell me what the correct answer was.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I haven't I haven't done mine yet, so
We didn't
if
do
that
that
tells
on
you
the first
anything, I guess.
You can't learn anything,
I
huh?
can't,
Well,
you just gotta take it again, I
I
guess.
only learned 8/10 of it.
We'll give you,
Should get
I'll,
that.
I'll sign you an extra training, how about that? So you
Well, I
can
just
learn.
want to know what the right answer is.
Okay, well,
Alright,
you could ask me, I'll let you know. So ongoing projects is a city installation, city network equipment, which is another one, which is part of that consolidation that we're gonna be working on probably Monday. We ordered some more, video equipment, recording equipment for events and meetings. We're still working on annual state audits. I think we've pretty much got everything for the auditor's office, but then they'll come back and they'll do the treasurer's and clerk reports and some other departments that will pretty much give pretty much the same information, for just slightly different depending on the department. We're still working on security monitoring and controls. Still have the upgrade for a couple offices. We're waiting on the vendors to move forward with those upgrades. Access control system, I hear, is still in progress. Everything's been ordered for it. The life size system's kind of been on hold for a little bit for the sheriff's office. And then installation of new 911 machines is in progress. And the sheriff's office fax system is, there's some new products out there that I'm exploring for that. Just need to get some pricing and some information from vendors regarding it, so.
So last year, I know there was an issue with the phone systems at the city, and
Mhm.
that's all taken care of.
Yeah.
And then I know that you talked about the ticket system. Are the city people adapting to that and understanding? what
Yeah,
they
for the
need to
most
do
part, we've had a couple where they're like, no one's responded to this, or I got this kickback and realized that they, typed the email address wrong, or they sent it to the wrong email address. So we're still working through that a little bit, but I think everyone's aware of where they should be reporting tickets, what numbers they should be calling for support, which is our main number. It's on the county website. We've sent it out multiple times. Another task they have on the phone related side is they still have services through, Brightspeed and things for numbers, so they're not quite sure what they do anymore. I think a lot of it's gonna be fire panels, alarm systems, that kind of thing, which that can be moved away from to cellular based systems and probably save them a good amount of money. So I'm working with the city on tracking down, like I did for the county. I audited that a couple of years ago and saved the county several $1,000s a month in old phone lines and services that no longer required. So I'm gonna be doing something similar for the city. I got the service safety director Tanner to send out an email to Brightspeed giving us authorization to work with their representatives. So I'm working on that right now.
Yeah, good. Well, I know that when you took that over at the city, that was going through a lot of weeds to
Yeah.
get to
Yeah.
where we needed to go. So yeah,
Yeah.
good job, Con.
Thanks.
appreciate you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Kyle.
So, yes, yeah, Jason, we have resolutions before we do have a bid opening at 11 o'clock, so we have to wait until 11 for that.
So we have a contract for hosted online index books. This is for the Knox County Recorder. And this is just where the public can go there, access recorder records, and this is the software that allows them to do that. And the annual contract is $4,800 and needs approval.
Motion to approve.
Seconded,
And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Then we have two items. The first one is authorized participation in the Ohio Local Agricultural Easement Program. This is where the homeowner, they apply through Flander Chase, and then they put the property in a conservancy. And then, but it comes before you for approving these parcels. And so we have the first one on Hopewell Road, Gambier, Ohio.
And
motion.
Yes.
Second.
yes, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And Kenny, there's nothing to sign, right? They just have to pass the approval. Okay. Then we have a second one as well through Flander Chase, and this is on in Gambier as well for Nathan McKee.
Motion to approve.
Second
And those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And I think Nathan McKee, has he done other ones?
It was denied.
Oh, okay.
All the other one wasn't okay. Then we have a utility permit for Licking Rural Electric Energy Co-op on Danville Amity Road and Brown Township.
Motion to approve.
Second
And those in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
And then the county prosecutor has submitted the equitable sharing agreement and certification. This is a federal document that he's required to submit annually. You'll see on here, once you approve it, Bill will sign it. The budgeted amount is zero because they don't have anything at this point. They have to have this agreement in place in case they have any federal forfeitures on items. So it's basically a document has to be submitted. So in case it needs use later this year.
Motion to approve.
Second.
And all those in favor, say aye.
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 That's that. And then we have one set of minutes in your county bills with no transfers for the next review. For review and signature.
We have a refund from DKMM. How does that happen? We prepays.
Oh,
Just in a learning point.
so that's Matthew Bogger. The litter recycling program is funded by DKMM. So he had funds that he did not use last year, so he's returning those funds back to them. Yeah.
That's how it happens.
Could you both pages?
Can I sign the middle one? I think I looked it over and didn't sign it. Did I switch it?
Inside the seal. Inside the-
And which commissioner, which one do you serve on the district, the Public Health District Advisory Council?
Yeah.
Is it your end? Okay, that postcard, I wasn't sure who's, that's just to talk about their annual meeting in March.
I'm sorry. Prepaid.
Let's go.
Okay.
And then Jason, I'd like people to know that right now the Delaware, Knox, Marion, Morrow Solid Waste Management District is going through its solid waste management plan update. The plan update from 2026 to 2040. Each township, each incorporated entity has received a resolution, sample resolution. They need to go ahead and ratify that. It's a requirement by the EPA that we do an update. And so that has gone out to all of the those entities that need to sign that. So that is in process right now. We had Jeff Godke with us on radio line, and we do have a couple times for people to come and get informed about that. We want them to be informed about the comprehensive plan and what it accomplishes. And then one of the most important things that the people in our area need to know is that we're hoping that the starting of first week in March, the north entrance of our service center is going to be under construction. That's going to take about 6 months to do that. The handicap parking area will be closed throughout that process. And anybody who needs to use the handicap parking area, they will park between the courthouse and also between the service center here. And those who are used to using that back elevator to get upstairs, they won't be able to come in that way. They'll have to come into the side door at that time. Cameron Keaton in our elected officials meeting mentioned that Pleasant Valley Road and also the I call it the Amity Danville Road. Some people call it Danville Amity. I prefer Amity since I grew up in Amity. Those two roads are going out for bids here in the near future. And I think when that process starts, Pleasant Valley Road is anticipated to be closed for about a 6-month period too. And then that Danville Amity Road will probably have certain portions like it did before where that sections will be closed. And then Chip McConville reported also that during 2024, through tax foreclosures, they were able to properties back into the fold, which clawed back $130,000 of tax dollars and put properties back onto the earning the dollars for the taxes in our county. And that there's a whole batch yet to come. And then on Saturday, we did honor John Nixon over at the Memorial Theater for his dedication. And so if you didn't see that article by Cheryl Splain, who is sitting at our table right now, you need to read that article. And then I did get some flack on pointing out the minute coin that the county commissioners put together is cryptocurrency. I don't know whether that's a patented word or not. I did say though that it doesn't have any monetary value, just a matter of prestige. Jason, did you have anything that you wanted to share with the?
No, I think Todd and I had a meeting yesterday with the architect on the back entrance. You know, we're still looking at the drainage tile to make sure that everything is good. They're working up a plan for that. We'll have a pre-construction meeting at the end of the month and make sure everything is ready to go for March 1st. And I will say, we are gonna have ADA signage in the lot. When we move that, we'll designate some of those spots for ADA, so they'll be visible and called out. So more to come on that, but I think at this point, we're still planning on March 1.
Then Barry, you wanna, for those that didn't listen to the radio this morning, talk about the guidelines for the solar hearing, which is a week from this Thursday.
Sure. We have a public hearing for comment only. Excuse me, on February 20th at 6 p.m. at the Memorial Building. This is not to rehash the previous Fraser solar project that we've been talking about for several months, years. This is for the unincorporated areas in Knox County, as far as wind and solar go. It will be a time frame from 6 to 7:30 PM. Everybody will get 3 minutes to talk. This is not a debate, not an argument. This is just a faux or against comment. We really want your trustees to show up to be the first one to talk. Keep in mind, we have 18 counties who have signed solar resolutions that say they do not want solar already. 19 if you count the city of Mount Vernon. So this is kind of a formality. If you don't get time to talk during this meeting, we recommend that you put down in writing so that you can forward it or give it to the county commissioners that are sitting here for your review. So spread the word. It is comment only. It's not to debate a previous project. It's just to move forward.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Any other things that we need to discuss before? At 11 o'clock, we will have the opening of bids for the county engineers heavy equipment truck bid. Is that what it is?
Yes.
And then and we have Cameron Keaton here, and actually,
We have, everybody got copies.
Yeah.
So far, we have two items, two bidders. So we'll have to wait till 11 and then we can
Okay.
open those.
And so Cameron, while we're waiting, I took some of your thunder already. I talked about you putting out bids for Pleasant Valley and also for the Amity Danville Road.
Right.
Do you have any other updates you'd want to share with the people that may not have heard what you said at the
Sure. We're also working on Howard Danville Road Bridge. There's you come right out of Howard. That we're trying to actually move that project up. It was scheduled for later this year, but we're seeing if we can get it out for bid a little bit earlier. On all these projects, because we use federal funding, we can't just put projects out for bid when we would like. So we have to make sure all our paperwork's in line. All the agreements, right of ways secured, environmental's cleared. And then ODOT actually gives us the authority to advertise for bid. And then we have to actually ask for permission to award the project from them as well. So everything has to be coordinated through ODOT and the federal government.
that's the bridge there, you say?
Yeah, any of the projects really that we do with federal funds and federal dollars. So
Approximate cost for that bridge is Howard?
in Howard,
Yes.
I think it's over $1 million. Forget exactly what the total dollar amount is now, but it's almost like you can't build a bridge for less than $1 million now. So
Standard, isn't it?
pretty much, yeah, for the bridges that we have around here.
Inflation.
Exactly, yeah. So. But other than that, it's just business as usual. We'll have a pretty aggressive paving program this year. That's the goal. To do a little bit more paving this year, maybe back off of some of the culvert replacements and that type of thing, so.
Hopefully the snow misses us.
Well, I don't think it's going to, but.
And then you mentioned also today, how many employees you are lacking that you need to.
Yeah, we're probably down 5 or 6 guys in the garage right now. So, for everybody's just general information, if it's a 1-day event that we can go in and treat and just say a 24-hour period, we can put everybody on it and we can get it and clean it up a little faster. If it's an event that spreads over a couple days, then we have to actually run our guys around the clock. They run 12-hour shifts. They'll be running all night, all day. And when we do that, we have to divide our crews in half. So we only have about 21 or 22 guys in the garage right now. So if we split it in half, that puts 11 guys out on a route. And right now we have 13 routes that we have to cover. We cover 400 miles of roadway. And if it's a snow event, we have to plow both directions. So we plow 800 miles of roadway. So when people call and complain that the road isn't cleared, or it's because we got 11 guys out on the road and we're trying to cover 800 miles of roadway. So,
That's a lot.
and that's knock on wood, nothing breaks down.
Yeah.
So
Then, see, I think you recently did a purchase for a paver.
Not recently, that's been a few years ago, yeah.
Well, I was thinking you did something else, maybe it was a, patch.
We got a, yeah, we got a patch,
Hot box.
hot box, right, yeah.
Yeah.
For patching materials, yeah.
Yeah, now is that to help with the potholes that we don't have?
Oh, yeah,
No, we don't have.
absolutely, yeah. So we actually have 3 hot boxes in the county garage right now, so we can put one in each one of our divisions.
Okay.
So a crew can each have their own hot box when they're out patching potholes. So there again, we're just trying to get on them as quickly as we can, don't let them get carried away.
And if they experience a pothole that they would like for you to patch,
Yeah,
they're supposed to call your office then?
Yep. just let's make us aware of it, yep.
And
All
your
the
phone
office.
number is,
740-392-15. I don't know. 1590.
59, okay, yeah.
1-800 pothole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have an 800 number yet. so.
Cameron, is the generator done, project done up in?
It is done. It's been installed, so now we have backup power for all of our garage and all of my office. Didn't have that in the past. My office didn't have any backup generation, power. And only about a quarter of the garage had power. So now new generator's in, it's up and working, so I think we're good there, so.
Okay.
Yep,
But we still have 2 minutes before we can officially open the bids at that point. I assume that we could say who we have in though, and
Yeah.
even though we don't read them,
Yeah.
is that gonna be kosher?
And what they're for.
So, yeah, Cameron, did we have the bids? You wanna talk about what the bids are actually accomplishing for you?
this bid that you're opening today is actually for a mechanic's truck. So our mechanics currently use an old, beat up pickup truck. When we have trucks that go down on the road, or if we have equipment that goes down out in the field, they have to go out and make repairs out in the field.
Mhm.
They're currently using an older pickup truck to make those runs. So this is actually, a larger type, tandem wheel type vehicle that's gonna have a lift on the back of it, and, you know, toolboxes and cutting torches and air compressors and all that type of stuff, so.
It'll be equipped with all of that.
Yep,
It'll be a real utility truck.
exactly, yeah, when you can actually go out in the field and do some real work, so.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do with the old truck?
It will either it's just an old pickup truck, so it gets used around the shop until it won't go anymore, and then we usually sell them at auction, typically.
So are we at 11 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay,
You're doing-
okay, so on our bids that we're opening, the first packet that I hope have open is Palfinger. PALFINGER.
And Bill, the engineer's estimate on this is $120,000.
Okay,
So it can't exceed 20% of that.
make sure I get to the right pages. I hate to give a low ball number out there and they say, oops, that's not what it is. I think I have the right page, but I'll scan through here. So it looks like from Palfinger, Jack Coleman's is the person that quoted it out of Tiffin, Ohio. The bid price is $108,495. $108,495. And I will pass these over to Cameron.
Cameron, once these are read, you review specs, I take it, correct?
Yeah, well, the specs are part of the package, but we review their numbers.
Right.
Yeah, so we make sure that there are no mathematical errors. Looks like everything's in there. If they're required to have a
Equipment,
bid
same
bond.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Mhm.
yeah, we'll just make sure if they did put a proposal in there, really, they should be bidding on our specs. We
Right.
put the spec together on the type of truck that we want. There again, a lot of times we're just checking their numbers to make sure the math works out correctly.
And then there's an optional equipment number. of $6,595.
What was that again, Bill?
$6,595, and it's for optional equipment.
That's an
Would that be
addition.
something they recommend, Cameron, or is that optional equipment?
I'd have to look at that. I'm
I
not sure
say
exactly.
item
how it's
number
at.
17. I don't know if that's your.
I'd like oil supply tank, dispenser, 50-gallon hydraulic oil reservoir, so it's for an oil reservoir. So we can either accept that or not accept it. I guess we look at it.
So that was their recommendation to put that on there?
No, that was ours.
That was your spec?
Yeah, it was in the bid. It was an optional equipment.
Okay.
Okay, so the next bid, so we have two bids that I'm aware of. Hughes Equipment. Tick through here. Has more of an itemized list of each one. I don't know that they gave me a sum total. Cause what they've done is, add the bid form that they have. It's giving me a lot of itemized items. So I think we're gonna need a calculator on theirs to figure out what they actually bid for Cameron. Yeah, there's multiple things there.
Have you done business with either one of these before, Cameron?
Hughes Equipment, we've worked with them in the past. Not familiar with the first bidder.
Tipton. Tipton.
Yeah, so. Yeah, they gave us a lot of different individual items, but they didn't give us a sum total. At least I couldn't find it. Maybe you'll Jason will probably go right to it.
Yeah, so they did us, let's see.
Because when I saw the total on one of them of 35,000, I thought that's a pretty good deal.
For a third of it.
Yeah.
Looks like 110,775 with an option of 7,375. 110,775 and then 7,375. But Cameron will check that. And make sure.
Yep.
When you do these spec, Cameron, do they give you a delivery time frame, or they just accept the bid and say we'll build it, or how does that work?
We usually put in the contract, and I'm not sure exactly what we put in there as far as the time frame.
If you give them a time frame to deliver.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Otherwise, you're kind of giving them an open door.
Yeah, here's an open book.
Yeah, so we try to keep it as, when you do a competitive bid, you try to spell out all the different questions that they could have, so that everybody's bidding it on the same price. Yeah, I'll go back. We'll check the numbers on all these, make sure all the math works out. And then typical, we'll put a bid tabulation together and then we make a recommendation award to the commissioners, once we've looked at everything.
And how long do you project that time to take to do that?
We should have it this week, I think, so.
Before the snow flies.
Right, yeah, before everybody gets busy doing something else.
Good.
Thank you.
All right, thank
Cameron.
you, absolutely.
Thank
Thank you.
Did Chip wanna be on camera or when he does it?
Yeah, he's just doing an update.
Okay, so we wanna ask him to come down early, cause he's scheduled 11:30.
Yeah, I can see if he's available.
Okay. So people online know that we're waiting to check to see if Chip McConville can come down. And Chip McConville is our prosecuting attorney for the county. We do have some new legislative items that have come up about how the county may be able to do a different way of advertising any bids that take
He's not
place.
up there right now.
Okay, I want to end the law, so he'll be doing that. On our public, I don't have anything else, right?
No, I don't,
Jason?
no, Commissioner.
Do you have anything?
I do not.
John, do you have anything?
I have a question about the Knox County Comprehensive Plan,
Mhm.
this document. Can you explain what this is about?
That's the one I gave you, Commissioner, that came from Harrison Township. And they
Harrison.
were, I think, just voicing some
Concerns.
concern with it, but it was based on that. Their perception of what
They,
being building codes or.
they
something.
attended the last meeting here in the building on what day was
It was last week.
Thursday?
Yeah,
Thursday, maybe? They attended and their concerns were answered. About how they could add comments to the comprehensive plan. And it wasn't law, but it's not a law. So that was their initial reading.
And this
of it.
is not a resolution, it's just a statement.
right, that they submitted to each of you, yes.
We've answered their questions
Yeah.
properly, they're good.
Yeah.
So are they withdrawing that or?
No, that was just, they just submitted that to our office. I think it was the week before last,
Mhm.
and because the comp plan just has a part in there that says that building codes could be reviewed or
A
study.
study.
And that was what the language that was in the 2018 comp plan, so there was no change in that language, so
Hmm.
I think they just didn't even like that language still being in there, that based on that, but I don't think anybody's talked to them specifically about it.
They were,
Did you?
yeah, Claude and another rep were commuting, and they understand now that they could make suggestions and addendums to that comp plan and send it in, and it will get added. So everybody seems to be happy with what
Okay,
transpired at that meeting.
so we have 2 more meetings to go before
Mhm.
we actually are looking at approvals or
Of adoption.
adoption of the plan.
Yes.
Okay, and that's the only trustee township that we've had any response from as a township.
That I've heard from here. Now, they might have done comments through ADF and through the committee, but directly to our office, that's the only one that we've received.
And the same night that we have the SB 52 public hearing for the solar, we have the same meeting, right? For the adoption of it.
For RPC, I think RPC is planning to vote on the plan that night.
So are we to go from meeting to meeting, as commissioners?
Yeah.
Long
If
day.
you, yeah, if you, well, we go, I guess,
One's at 6, one's at 6:30. I mean, that's.
That's 7:30.
7:30.
Okay.
7:30.
I see, we're gonna end the first meeting anyway.
Yeah.
It sounds well
So
organized.
yeah, we'll be trotting, huh?
One's in
Got an hour and a
Memorial.
half. What's the time?
Are they both in Memorial back to back?
Yeah.
no, I think
No.
RPC meeting is,
Is here.
It's here.
Oh,
Typically
back
here.
here, yes.
He's having it over there.
Oh, that's right. He is, Bill's having. it
on the
tomorrow.
20th, he is? Okay.
So we'll be in the same building.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking, we're in the same building.
Well, while we wait on Chip, our agenda item also says public comment if requested. Our guidelines are typically that if a person wants to make a comment here at the commissioner's office, they're to do that request in advance. we realize that if we hold to that firmly, then what people will end up doing is stepping Penny's office and do the same request. So, we are going to allow people to speak. We do have a 3-minute period, but we want you to speak about county business. It can't be about things that's not related to the county. And so with those parameters, people are aware that even at the hearing on the 20th, we have guidelines as well. So we ask if you have a comment that you want to talk about county business. You need to say your name and identify yourself, and hopefully you will identify yourself as being a Knox County resident or not. So we have an idea as to where the comments are coming from. And so we have about 15 minutes before Chip comes down.
Why don't you give me the definition of county business, I guess, maybe instead of,
Oh, well, county business would be the things that the county commissioners cover. This is not gonna be a public comment time that talks about things that are outside of what the county commissioners have control over. So if they're asking about, where certain sheriff business items are, that's the sheriff. You would have to talk to the sheriff. If you want to ask questions about what the auditor's office and property taxes, you ask the people who are in charge of that area. If it's areas that the county commissioners oversee, then yes, we want to hear that. But if it's not anything that we have any oversight on, then you need to take that someplace else. So with that, I'll start over here to the left. Ma'am, do you have anything you want to share about county business?
I do not, just heard.
No?
I have a question. My name is Kelly and I live in Mount Vernon.
Mhm.
And I know there's different people that can, like the sheriff can recuse and different things, like if it doesn't cover, like. Is there any time that you guys need to recuse yourselves from voting on a budget or something when there's a conflict of interest? Like what's happening now? Like, can that person be removed at least from a certain committee or something if there's a conflict of interest, anything, or is that just not a thing? I just don't know.
Yeah, the way that would work, if we think there's any conflicts,
Mhm.
then we talk to the prosecutor about that.
Okay,
Because he's our legal guardian in essence. And so he is our representative, legal representative, same way for the townships. Townships use the prosecutor's office for items that they need on that. So anything that might raise an issue of conflict, that would be something we would channel through Chip McConnell.
and we can all recuse ourselves from something as far as a vote goes if we think there's a personal conflict.
yeah, that was my question, like, is it up to each individual or? is it-
You can do that, or you can get the county prosecutor's advice,
Okay,
but yeah.
yeah, that's interesting, thank you, I appreciate that.
And so we have people out in the hallway. I don't know.
I
whether we
can
put
step
you-
out. That was my only
You wanna
question.
let people,
Sure, absolutely, thank you so much, you guys.
if you don't have any questions, maybe somebody else can come in.
I would like to stay.
Could you say your name, please?
I'm sorry, my name is Jean Shard. I'm not in Knox County, but I'm hoping to build a small house here.
Okay.
So I would like to observe how things. are
Sure.
done.
Sure.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are there people out there that want to step in, say their names and talk about any county business that they want?
County business only. County business only.
Well, and you spoke last week,
Yes,
so we
I'm
heard your
asking,
comments, so
transparency, is that still happening through the commissioners?
say your name
Transparency.
again, please.
Sure, my name is Sabrina Warner,
And you live in the county or outside of the county?
outside of the county.
Okay,
Is transparency still happening inside the commissioners' offices?
yes, it is.
Thank you. It's exhausting every resource to make sure that every commissioner is being exposed for what's happening.
That's a different topic.
Thank you.
That's not a county agenda item.
is Brenda able to keep up with her commissioner duties and meetings? I've heard that she's not been at several.
That would be a different thing than our agenda here. So
Is she
I-
able
I
to
get-
keep up with them? That's a commissioner duty.
that's not something that we would deal with here because my understanding, according to Ohio Revised Code, we as commissioners and I think other elected people are required to be in office at least one day out of 90 days.
One day out of how many?
90,
One
that's
day
a
out of
Ohio
90.
Revised Code.
Thank
So
you.
that'll be good. So the next
Okay,
person.
and then sunshine
that's
laws
it.
are being,
That's it.
being
You've had your
exhausted.
questions.
thank you. And I also
Um,
would like to say, Brenda, we're asking you to
so-
resign for the second
Yeah.
time. This will
Excuse
get
me.
worse before it gets better.
Yes, yep.
Thank you. May I come out this way? Thank you.
Someone want to talk about county business? Okay, Kyle, you got music you can play until Chip gets down here.
Some good elevator music.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Chip will be down at 11:30.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, Kenny?
One of the things we'll have the capability of doing at the hearing is cutting off the mics. And Kyle, correct me if I'm wrong, we're planning on having video over there.
Yes, there'll, we have our unit we're gonna be taking over, and there'll be another unit that's gonna be loaned to us for the meeting. So we'll have 2 units working.
Yeah. That'll be good. That'll be a first for us to try to figure that out then,
Yes.
right?
Yes, it will.
It's. It's twice. It's the community. I think, from where they really fixed it once this time. Over what they were breaking. Yeah.
And we could have people sing happy birthday to Brenda.
I don't think you want.
He's got a great.
Yeah.
Well, I
I'll send
think
you
you
a
can,
note.
you're the guy, right?
Yeah, and then we're trying to keep our distance from Barry because he's got some kind of COVID routine going on. He has 19, he wasn't old enough to get COVID 20,
Yeah.
so he just got the underage COVID 19.
Yeah, been fun.
Well, do you, we've got 10 minutes till Chip comes down. Do you wanna take a break?
Yeah,
Come
it's
back.
Glass
okay.
of water would be good.
Yes,
So we'll come back on live at 11:30.
yes, so we'll at 11:20, we'll stop for. Did you cut me off, Kyle?
You're still talking.
Still talking.
Yeah,
You're still
so
talking.
11:20, we're gonna take a break. Chip McConville will be here at 11:30. And again, he is going to be here to talk about new bills and laws that affect how we do business at the county level. Good, we're good again?
We're back.
Okay, so Knox County Board of Commissioners, regular session, February 11th, 2025, 11:30. And we have Chip McConville, our Knox County prosecutor, with us to update us on new laws and legislation that's important to us.
Thank you. I'm here specifically about the county contracting provisions that got passed in House Bill 497. And I will have some additional information for you. All of these major legislative enactments affecting county and township law are going to go into effect in April. They were signed in January. There's a 90-day period for them to go into effect. So these county contracting provisions are going to change the way my office looks over contracts. We are required by law to review county contracts before they go into effect. So you will see on contracts that come to you that either myself or another one of my lawyers has reviewed the contract and approved it as to form, and there will be a signature on there. For our new commissioners, I want to explain what as to form means.
Thank you.
What it means is that it's a legally enforceable contract, that there is consideration given for the contract, that, you know, both parties are entering into that in a way that's going to be enforceable. What the legislature did was they put into statute a number of provisions that will flat out be illegal in county contracts. The one that had that got the most attention under the old way of review was indemnification clauses. And there was an attorney general's opinion about indemnification clauses, saying that the county can't enter into a contract that has an indemnification clause in it that you couldn't quantify the total amount that the county was indemnifying the other party for. So if you had things in there, and a common thing to include in an indemnification clause is attorney's fees. Well, you don't know what the other side's attorney's fees are going to be. So if you can't quantify that, it would not be allowed into the contract. And we very strictly enforce that. I can think of only one time in the past 10 years that we've entered into a contract that had an indemnification clause in it, and it had to deal with the healthcare contract under our previous insurer. It's not the SEPCO arrangement we have now, but we negotiated an amount that went into the contract that the auditor would have to hold out and basically place in reserve. So that is not an advantageous thing for the county's financial situation before the contract could go into place.
So those indemnifications, Chip, it's monetary and or open, neither one of those are good, is that I'm hearing that?
Well, under the way it was structured before.
Okay.
So indemnification clauses were the focus of our review. Now, there are 8 different things that we're going to review because the legislature said it can't be in the contract. Indemnification clauses are at the top. So we cannot promise to indemnify another company, another organization. So it doesn't matter how it reads, we can't make that promise to another organization.
Okay.
Another thing that you will find commonly in a lot of contracts is an arbitration or remediation clause, subjecting it to binding arbitration or mediation instead of a court proceeding. That is no longer allowable. And that's going to get to some of the other pieces that the legislature also acted on. The third one is venue provisions, and venue is basically where you decide to have a court case adjudicated. And this links to the arbitration mediation thing. The only place that is proper venue now for a county contract is the county where that county government is located. So it's going to be Knox County, Ohio. A lot of contracts would have a choice of law or a choice of venue that was not Ohio, which in the event things went to litigation, you would have to secure counsel in that jurisdictions. And frankly, IT contracts are really bad for this. Oh, we're gonna litigate this in California. Well, no longer. And that helps, to protect the county against unexpected liability and expenses. There cannot be limitations of liability for tortious conduct. So if you have a personal injury sort of thing that has arisen, an employment tort, those kinds of things, you can't limit the liability for those kinds of events. Here's another one that's kind of famous, and Kyle, I'm not trying to pick on the tech people here.
But he will.
But you cannot enter into a contract where all of the terms and conditions are not readily apparent. So a lot of online contracts, things that you'll sign electronically will say, well, these are subject to our terms and conditions. And if you want to see them, click here. That's not allowed. All the terms and conditions need to be spelled out and they need to be reviewed. You get a lot of boilerplate kind of contracts that are set up that way, and these provisions are to keep the county out of those kinds of situations. Also on this list, provisions that allow someone other than the prosecutor to represent the county. By law, the prosecutor is the legal representative of the county, of all the county elected officials acting in their official capacity. So there are provisions where the county can get outside counsel, but this is simply a reinforcement to that. So you can't have a contract where another party can elect to have someone other than the prosecutor represent the county. Another one that was in effect before, but is now very explicit. You cannot have contractual provisions that attempt to get around the Public Records Act. So there can't be a confidentiality clause in a contract that says that the contents of the contract themselves are confidential. They're always a public record. Any contract that the county enters into is always a public record. There may be some confidentiality provisions that kick in on trade secrets and those sorts of things. If you have a vendor that has proprietary information, obligations to keep that stuff secret are binding, but you can't keep the contract secret. And then limits of liability for the cost of a replacement contractor. If you have a construction project that goes sideways and there are damages because of that, the contractor can't attempt to limit the county in terms of what it's going to cost to fix it. You have to be made whole depending on whatever the circumstances damages might be. So that's kind of the scope of this. So going back to the as to form review that we do, it used to be that as to form review was, is there an indemnification clause in here that's going to make this unenforceable? Now it's a list of 8 things that we're going to be going through. Generally speaking, the prosecutor's office will allow the negotiating entity, whoever it is, if it's the commissioners, if it's some other organization like the Board of DD or one of the county boards, to set the terms. The amount that's being paid is irrelevant to our review. If we see something in there that looks troublesome, we'll probably flag it for you. But these are the 8 things we're going to be looking for that simply can't be in there. And it's going to be a straight up no until we get those things taken out.
And that's exactly why we like you here, Scott.
And that's why we try to always make sure we can constantly, with Chip's help, tell all the elected officials, departments, all contracts, all agreements, all leases, everything has to go to Chip's office, and it comes down here, and the commissioners of the contracting authority of the county. No one else has authority to sign a contract unless you've given them consent and authority to do so by resolution.
Yeah, especially if it involves anything related to the physical plan of the county, any county building, any county property is exclusively the jurisdiction of the commissioners and nobody else gets to make those decisions.
I know you frequently would pick on the copier machine contracts. 'Cause
Yeah,
seemed like you always Xed out a lot of stuff on those.
those were form contracts. So those get to a number of the things that I was just talking about, the terms and conditions. And that was one of those ones where the terms and conditions were spelled out separately and we always had to request them and say, no to those things.
Yeah. And then we're still waiting for the legislators to modify similar to the municipalities on bid processes and how we have to advertise that.
Well, there's been some change to that and I'll be getting you a memo about that.
Okay.
That and public notice.
That was supposed to take, April also take place April.
Yes.
Public bids.
Yes. So
Particular date, because it's not April 1st evidently if they pass it in January.
yeah, it's gonna be within the first 10 days of April.
There you go. And he's your assistant secretary. Okay. Thank you. Anything else you have?
I'm good, thank you, Chip.
Sounds like there's a couple of good protections.
They will help reduce liability for the county.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Okay, so having conducted, do you have anything else?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any other business?
No, I do not.
I'll take a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
So we stand adjourned at this time on Drenda's. They told. Thank you.